the many years growing up, there's one thing that I have learned: you cannot go wrong with a good old Lego game. But the actual question is, what is actually the best Lego game? I mean, to start off with, you've got Lego Star Wars, you've got Lego Batman, you've got Lego Harry Potter, you've got Lego Indiana Jones, you've got Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, Lego Lord of the Rings, and Lego Marvel. I could go on and on and on. But hold the line, love isn't always on time. I have actually come to a conclusion. What is the best Lego game? I mean, at the end of the day, it's really down to personal preference. You might like a franchise more than another franchise, so you'll obviously prefer that Lego game. It's not rocket science. However though, I have actually come to an agreement on which is the best Lego game for nailing all the aspects such as story, the open world, the characters, and just how fun that Lego game is. So without a further ado, cue the music. So, hello there guys, I am RuggedEagle and I do lots of Lego content on my channel, so if you do like what you see, please feel free to subscribe. It is up to you though, and a like would be greatly appreciated, as I would absolutely love to hit 100,000 subscribers. That would mean an absolute world to me. But anyway, let's actually get into what is the best ever Lego game. Right then, drum roll please. The best ever Lego game goes to Lego DC Supervillains. Now, whoa, that might have shocked quite a few of you, and don't think this is personal preference, because my all-time favourite Lego game is Lego Lord of the Rings, and some of you might think the best Lego game is the complete saga, because that technically laid down the foundations for what Lego games are built off, but Lego DC Supervillains does everything correctly. I mean, over the years, Lego games have evolved quite a lot. I remember when Lego Batman 2 came out and we had the first open world in a Lego game that was absolutely phenomenal to explore, and they really nailed the Gotham City look in that game with the Tim Burton aesthetic. It was great to see. And the main reason why I think Lego DC Supervillains is the best Lego game, because over the years from Lego game to Lego game, they have learnt from their mistakes, and DC Supervillains does everything correctly, and it's one of the most recent Lego games today. Let's not count Lego Movie 2, that doesn't exist. Now, Lego Movie 2 is the most recent Lego game today. It definitely is the worst Lego game, but it is still really fun to play through. So then, let's actually get into the breakdown on why I do think Lego DC Supervillains is the best Lego game. And let's begin with the story. So the story, it's a Lego game. It's not going to be some emotional roller coaster where your heartstrings are literally pulled out. It's a simple narrative that is meant to be fun and anyone can enjoy it. Now, the only emotional roller coaster here is the older Lego games when we used to come home in our childhood and play Lego Batman 1 or Lego Star Wars. That's the emotional roller coaster. But the story in Lego DC Supervillains, hey, it does the job. It's a very simple story. The Justice Syndicate shows up, they take over the Justice League, and basically you play as the supervillains and take down the Justice Syndicate alongside Darkseid, who is a wicked character to play. Now, Lego DC Supervillains doesn't really truly shine in the story. I mean, who really plays a Lego game for a heartfelt story? Mind you, when Qui-Gon died, that did tear me up. Rest in peace, Qui. Rest in peace. We have to witness that again because TT games have no chill. We have to witness Qui-Gon dying again. So DC's Supervillain story roughly takes on average around 18 hours to fully complete, with there being 20 main story levels and 6 extra levels to do with the DLC add-on expansions. Now, this is where DC's Supervillains really does shine, and that is through the level design. Over the years from Lego game to Lego game, you really can see how TT games have improved the level design formula, and in DC's Supervillains, they put it all to the max. Now, this is especially prominent in the boss battles in DC Supervillains. They now use a 360-degree camera whilst in a boss battle, and it just has a new fresh feeling to the classic boss battles in Lego games, and I really like the change. Now, that's not to say they completely wiped away the classic feel and touch of the old Lego games. They still have some classic style boss battles within DC Supervillains, and I really love the mix. I mean, just for an example, the Batman animated DLC pack level has one of the best classic boss battles you'll see in a modern Lego game. They use the classic heart system and all these henchmen come flooded in, and it's got that nostalgic style to the level, and it really does suit the game, how you get the mix between the newer boss battles and the classic boss battles. That's why I love DC Supervillains. And I really do believe that LEGO DC Supervillains has the best level design throughout every single LEGO game, mainly because it picks up on what they learned from the past LEGO games and they just throw them all together, and it's just a great concoction of levels throughout DC Supervillains, such as the main introduction level where you play as Joker and Harley Quinn. That is one of my all-time favourite levels in a LEGO game. It's so fun working your way through the entire watchtower going up and up as Joker and Harley Quinn. And I remember in LEGO Batman 1 when we used to play the villain missions, they were one of the best things about LEGO Batman 1, and now we've got an entire game where you play as the villains. It truly is a dream come true. Now, if I had a time machine and I could go back in time and pick my younger self up and bring him to the future to sitting down to play LEGO DC Supervillains, I think I would never get off this game. Now, if I am being honest, I do think the level design is stronger in the earlier levels, especially when you're in Gotham, when you're playing as Batman villains. That seems to be where the level design is strongest, where you go through the Gotham Police Department, Penguin's Icelands. Towards the end of the game, the levels do get a little bit weaker, but they are still solid levels. Oh, and just before we move on, the Joker in DC Supervillains is actually voiced by Mark Hamill, who voices the Joker in the Arkham games, and he plays Luke Skywalker. And Batman is voiced by Kevin Conroy, who does Batman in the Batman animated series, which is wicked to see. So now it is time to touch upon the open world. So LEGO DC Supervillains open world is a massive concoction of lots of different settings from the DC universe, all mashed together to create one big open world. Now yeah, that may sound familiar. They did actually attempt to do this in LEGO Marvel Super Heroes 2, but I don't think they executed it as well as in LEGO DC Supervillains. Personally, I quite enjoyed Chronopolis, but LEGO DC Supervillains does it right. Now, it really is personal preference here, but I really like the mixed bag in the settings of the open world, that you can move from Gotham City where it's raining and all the neon lighting into the bright sunny metropolis, and then you've got the gothic Arkham City, and then you've also got Apocalypse and Smallville, which is great to see. I absolutely loved the Smallville TV show when I was younger. However, now the CGI is very questionable. But there's just something that I really like about Gotham City, especially in DC Supervillains. I really like the rain effect, all the neon lighting and the gloomy back streets, and it's very different to LEGO Batman 2's Gotham City, which I like, how they didn't try and copy what they've already done, and it's a very different take on Gotham. You've got two very different stylistics for Gotham City. And hey, at least we can finally explore Metropolis. I remember when I was younger playing LEGO Batman 2, the one mission where you head over to Metropolis. I thought when I was younger you could explore Metropolis, and now hey, we finally get to explore Metropolis. And I remember a while back when I ranked all the open worlds in LEGO games, I actually did put DC Supervillains at number 3, because I truly do think they mastered the style that they were trying to go for in LEGO Marvel Super Heroes 2, and it works really well here. And it doesn't stop here. DC Supervillains just keeps getting stronger and stronger. The next aspect we're going to be looking at is the characters. Now this right here is where DC Supervillains excels. It's got quite a large amount of characters in a LEGO game, and all the characters are unique and absolute a blast to play. And this has been one of my issues in LEGO games ever since the beginning. There's so many characters in LEGO games, but they're all very similar. It really doesn't matter who you play. However, in DC Supervillains, they gave each character their own identity. And another great thing is, you can actually read up about them on their character profiles and when they first appeared in the comics, which is really cool. And this even goes to apply for the big figs. They're so drastically different. Instead of just smashing things up as a big lad, all the big figs are different, such as Darkseid with his Omega beams. They are so fun to use. And then you've got Steppenwolf with all his cool abilities to do with his axe. I really like how they all have different movesets and all feel unique. And that's a word that's going to crop up quite a few times here, because it is very evident that TT Games has put a lot of time into researching all these characters from the DC universe. Even to the obscure characters such as Calendar Man and Gentleman Ghost, you actually want to go back once you've unlocked them to play them, because they're so fun to use, and that's what I really like. They have made all the different characters so great to use, you actually want to go back after you've unlocked them, unlike many LEGO games where you just unlock them and you'll never see the light and day of them ever again. And just for an example, there are different Batman variations within this game. You've got the Batman from DC Supervillains, you've got the Batman from the Justice League movie, and you've got the Batman animated series Batman. And all these Batmans are different to each other. They all have different movesets, and also, let me just mention how awesome it is to glide around Gotham City as Batman. It's literally just like the Arkham games. It's fantastic. And if I haven't won you over on why DC Supervillains has one of the best character rosters, they literally have a squirrel who is Green Lantern. I think his name's Bedig or Badge. Yeah, a squirrel that is Green Lantern. And now for the final bit on why DC Supervillains is the best LEGO game. I want to dive into all the extra stuff TT Games added in there and all the little minor things that just make the game even better. So starting off with the little things I absolutely love about this game is how you can access the interiors in the open world to certain buildings. It just adds another layer of depth to the open world. And believe it or not, in LEGO DC Supervillains, you can actually get a police chase, which is wicked to see. The more you defeat the police, the more studs you get, so it's quite a good money-making method to collect studs in the game, especially when you get multipliers on. You'll be getting studs for days. And not just that, in the open world you can actually find armoured police trucks, and if you actually break the back open, lots of studs fly out, so you can actually commit robberies in the open world. Yes, you truly do get to play as a villain. And the game even has a great list of extras to use, such as the pew 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 mode. Seriously, have a listen to this. And with all these aspects combining together, this is why I do truly believe that LEGO DC Supervillains is the best LEGO game today, and it is one of the most recent ones until LEGO Movie 2, which I actually did make a video on that, why that is the worst LEGO game. And DC Supervillains isn't my favourite LEGO game, but I still think it is the best LEGO game, and it is definitely up there. It's probably my second favourite after LEGO Lord of the Rings. And that's mainly because I absolutely love LEGO Lord of the Rings, but if you have not played LEGO DC Supervillains, seriously, you have to give it a go. It's got that nostalgic feel that the older LEGO games has, whilst mixing in the fresh new mechanics from the newer LEGO games. It truly is the perfect blend. But anyway, thank you for watching today's video. If you are new around here, please feel free to subscribe if you have gone to enjoy this video, and please go to drop it a like. And if you want to check out some of my other content, there will be links at the end of the video on my entire LEGO games playlist. I've got lots of awesome videos on there that you'll definitely enjoy. Anyway, thanks for watching, I hope you have a good week, and I'll see you all in a bit. Adios.